Time for me to catch the wave in this mother sucker. Time to catch the wave. What was that? I can't hear you. Time to catch the wave. Alright, I think I get it now. Time to catch the wave. Alright, one more time. I said it's time to catch the wave. And then we gotta bring it on home. Time to catch the wave. What up, everybody? Welcome to Catch the Wave. I'm your host, Clifton Antoine, here with Ryan Morrison.
That's right.
Dante Powell, and Perry Thompson.
What up?
Oh, what's up, y'all? Talking about some stuff today that it's pretty big right now.
Yeah.
Des Moines Register, people are getting fired for it.
Boycotts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are angry.
People are mad at beer. White people are mad at beer.
At light beer. At light beer. White people are mad at light beer.
Yeah, man.
It's like the Nike boycott all over again.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to get accomplished. But before we get all into it, Ryan, introduce yourself. Like, what do you do around Des Moines?
Yeah, I'm Ryan, also known as That Guy Rye, half of the podcast Drinks with Friends, with the other Iowa legend, Madison Ray. I'm a visual artist. I draw pictures, lots and lots of pictures. So check me out. I'm on all the social medias, That Guy Rye.
Can we use one for the background right now?
Yeah, I can send you one.
Okay, you can just send me a picture of it, and I'll just put it in the background.
Yeah, I got you. Go.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, y'all. I'm excited to be here and, prey on white guilt.
Thanks for coming, man. I'm glad you're here too. This is your voice is welcome for this because this is such an interesting story. And like I was telling you when I first saw you today, like we're not monolithic as black men in the way that we like all think alike. We're all open-minded individuals, each of us. Like, you guys like anime, I don't. Me and Cliff really like sports. You guys don't, I don't think. Or Perry's not, like, into it the way we are. So we're, like, all separate of mind enough that we stumbled upon the same thing just by being intelligent men.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy you're here to discuss this Carson King incident with us because, like, let's all break it down as a group. Let's start to like where we are now, and then I guess get into what happened. So like, how did this unfold for you?
Okay, for me, it's the Iowa State game. Huge, big thing. It's basically a holiday for everybody to get as drunk as they want.
Absolutely.
And College Game Day was going to be in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah, man.
College Game Day made all of this possible.
Yeah.
So everybody's trying to get the sign seen on College Game Day because then you're famous. Even people at my job, they were like, "Oh, we'll pay you $200 if you get our sign on national TV. Like we'll give you $200 extra." So it's a big thing to get your sign on TV.
Yep.
And Carson King got his sign on TV.
Yeah, the poster for it, Shark in a Dream.
Yeah.
And so Carson Luther King, as I've been calling him, Carson Luther King makes a sign, and his sign is asking for. He says he ran out of Busch Light, which is an Iowa staple. People here love the Busch Latte, as they call it.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh at this whole
Busch Light and Natty Ice.
so they love bad
I drank
beer.
my share, okay?
Right.
Okay, so they love it, and he says, "I'm ran out of beer money, need more money for Busch Light." He puts his Venmo address on there, and people are sending him cash.
Yeah.
They love the sign. This is hilarious. We're sending them money, and then Carson decides, you know what? I appreciate this, but I'm actually going to donate all this money I got from this sign to the Children's Hospital at the University of Iowa.
Which is beautiful for him
Right.
to do that.
I would've
Because
done
most
that.
people would have just taken the money.
No, I was
It
gonna
was
say
like
I would have done that
$600.
after my student loans got paid. All right, I got my
College college is good now.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Been out of college 11 years now.
So, this is a great story. Like, it's picking up steam. People are donating from all over the place now, and he's getting he's up to over $1 million.
I think he hit 2 now.
He's as of now. I'm saying so.
He
like
at 2 now.
He's at 2 million.
So people
after
are
this.
okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so banded together.
So while he was still in the like $1 million range, he gets picked up on like ESPN. Scott Van Pelt's talking about him, and because he's a hometown guy. He's around. He lives and works in Altoona. The Des Moines Register, the local paper, is doing a huge write-up on him. And when I tell you they're like, it's amazing how they're like propping this guy up. They're like really doing a real like nice puff piece on him. And in the process of doing this puff piece, one of the editors asks the person who's writing the story about him to do their due diligence, check his background, check his social medias, make sure nothing in there is going to come back to haunt them to make them look bad.
Which
Simultaneously, Busch Light said that they were going to put his face on a can and
Iowa legend.
as Iowa legend and sell it all. So he was getting a deal with Busch Light simultaneously.
And they said they were going to give him a year's supply of free beer.
Yes.
A year supply of free beer.
Wow. That's crazy that that's somebody's job now to go back and look at somebody's tweets.
Oh man, I already decided, like, if I make a sign, like, I'm gonna make something, make it funny, and then on the backside, you will find tweets. I was getting ready for it now. Like, I started going back through my Twitter, and I was like, man, fuck this shit.
I got the
Somebody's
same
gonna find
thing,
some
and
shit.
I stand by everything I said.
Yeah.
It's crazy how if you don't say racist stuff, you don't have to distance yourself from it. So, that's foreshadowing. So, so Carson is now becoming Iowa legend. The story is about to come out, and the person who's researching him goes back, looks at his Twitter, and there is racist stuff on there. They go to Carson and let him know, and they decide that they're going to actually publish the information just so they can get out ahead of it. But what they don't know is that Carson is going to get out ahead of them, and he calls a press conference. He announces, hey, in the process of writing a story about me, the Des Moines Register brought it to my attention that there was some racist stuff in my past on Twitter. It was just a joke. It was from Tosh.0, and I'm sorry.
From
I need
7
to
years
do
ago
better.
when I was 16,
Yeah,
that was part of it too.
Okay.
It also wasn't clear what he said
Yeah,
at the time.
I don't know what the tweet said. Still to this day, I don't know exactly what the tweet said.
I did some pretty extensive research on that. Just because I'm confrontational, and I'm like, if I'm going to argue with somebody, I want to know what I'm talking about. So after some digging, come to find out, old boy said he retweeted a joke from Tosh.0 and agreed with the sentiment that black mothers look like gorillas.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Plus, he tweeted another one, apparently from Tosh.0. I didn't find the actual bit, but where basically it made light of black people in the Holocaust. So number one, he was making light of the Holocaust itself, which is like the second, maybe third greatest travesty to ever hit mankind behind the transatlantic slave trade and what, again, white folks did to Native Americans.
Or what they did to Africans.
Right.
Because...
I kind of lumped that in.
No,
That's a lot to
I
unpack.
mean, like the colonization of Africa as a separate thing from the transatlantic slave trade.
fair.
But, you
So
know,
Christianity,
10 million people died in the Congos, but nobody talks about that.
Nobody
It's
talks about
fine.
that. Yeah. He made light of the Holocaust and then black people in particular in the Holocaust, and then said that our mothers resembled gorillas. At least that's how I took it. Like he said it about my mom and Nan and aunts and all these other women.
And Stephanie didn't do shit to him, so he need to get his shit together. My mother did not do shit to this man.
Right.
So that's where we are. They find this. Carson gets out in front of it. He calls a press conference. He says all this. He really he caresses it. He kind of tries to smooth it over. And then he
shared another tweet that he said that was basically, "Can we all get along?" Like, racism is bad.
And so
I honestly think that I honestly think that he jumped the gun. He should have let the Des Moines Register run their story because it sounded like they weren't going to do it, and then that came out,
And then they had to.
and then they had to.
absolutely.
So So, I mean, he fucked up his own money as far as I'm concerned.
But that's it. There's no money. There's no money.
No, the Busch Light thing?
That's
not supply.
Yeah, that's
just free beer. If he drinking like that, then he's not buying beer. That's saving money. That's
not fucking up money though. Like what he did is he like set his money in stone, because now when he runs for fucking whatever he runs for, and he starts lobbying, he's gonna be paid. Like that guy is a certified. That's kind of what we're working to here. But like he's a Cyclone fan that Hawkeye fans love. They invited him out to Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City this weekend. Like, hey, come do the wave with us. Like, Iowans love this guy. No. He is never going to have to buy a drink or pay for anything in this state as long as he's here. And, again, it's so...
That's crazy.
Not even crazy. Iowa. That's like here in America. Yeah. Anywhere he goes, white folks are going to band together. Like, I saw how they tried to do you.
We don't... Tried to get you on that racist stuff.
Yeah. And so... Yeah, so okay, quick recap on the whole thing. So that all happens. The people of Iowa are mad at the Des Moines Register. They're going off. They're boycotting. They're canceling subscriptions. They're still. I saw this earlier today. The Des Moines Register posted breaking news about a person who was in a car accident, a rollover car accident, died in a fire, and people are in the comments like, have you quit yet, Carol? Like, calling out the editor of the Des Moines Register.
Wow.
Like, just completely disregarding the family of this person who died. Like, people are that mad. So, you've got people mad at the Des Moines Register, and then what they decide to do is they're going to go look up the person who wrote the article. They look him up. He's got some terribly...
Wait.
Yeah, let's...
Real quick before you do that. Before they even found out who wrote the article, they started going after Rekha Basu, the Middle Eastern lady that works for the Register.
Oh, yeah.
They were offering death threats, talking about her family, burning her house down before they even said who
So
wrote
they just
the article.
assumed she
They
did
assumed it was the brown lady
Wow.
who found these racist tweets. And then that's what prompted the Register to be like, actually, it was this 27-year-old white dude. Y'all got set up by one of your own.
The call came from inside the house.
Damn.
So then they looked this guy up.
Okay, wait a second. That was a little fucked up because they were like, okay, well, we don't want to throw her under the bus, so we're going to throw this one to the bus. So it's like they just threw somebody to the wolves. But okay,
it was a perfect example of like, yo, we're not racist. It really wasn't the brown lady. It was this white dude. Like, we're on your side. That backfired horribly.
Yeah, it did. And so like. So now the people who are upset at the Des Moines Register, they look into this Aaron guy, the dude who wrote the story, his name is Aaron, or the dude who found the tweet, his name is Aaron. They look into him. He's got racist tweets. Now, his racist tweets aren't comparing us to gorillas or making light of the Holocaust. It's just him being a typical white guy who thinks he should be able to quote Kanye lyrics.
Okay, so what did he say? Was it just like, I got my niggas in Paris and
we
going gorillas?
Niggas nowadays are bitch made.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay, all right. So he's just quoting rap songs.
Yeah. So and it's not any more acceptable or it's not excusable or anything. But what I was telling Ryan when I was talking about this is there's a difference between promoting racist ideology, meaning being like, yo, these people are reminiscent to gorillas and the Holocaust is something to make light of. There's a difference between that and just being like a white person doing the racist act of retweeting or like sharing in the use of the word nigga. Mm-hmm. So like that's important to distinguish. So the people are boycotting. They're mad. They found Aaron. They're going in on Carol, the lady who's the head editor at the Des Moines Register. And then here comes like the black people of Iowa. And we're like, yo, this isn't really our thing, but you guys are kind of excusing racism.
Mm-hmm. Not kind of.
Blatantly
like, full on.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know if you are familiar with white people, but I don't just talk to them any kind of way. I ease into it.
Yeah.
I ease into it.
They don't hear it if you just immediately call them racist. Like, oh no, I'm not
racist. Okay. So guy says racist thing, right? Then other guy says racist thing, but this guy gives money to charity, and so not so bad. This guy wrote a story about guy giving the money. They're all fucked up.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, man.
I've seen more posts of people being like, "Who hasn't said something racist before?" Like,
Yeah.
That's what I've seen.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was on the internet at 16. And you know what I was doing? I was discussing rap albums.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't.
I may have quoted Kanye. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I definitely quoted Kanye.
Right. Man, shit.
My favorite Kanye line is "Hater niggas marry hater
Bitches and have hated kids.
Hell
Say
yeah.
that shit like at least once a month.
Okay,
yeah.
real quick, since we're gonna do this, I'll tell you my favorite Kanye line. The same people that tried to blackball me forgot about two things: my black balls. So I just want to put that out there in case any of you are thinking about checking my Twitter.
Yeah.
Quick interjection. Fuck Kanye for not dropping that album on Friday.
Bro,
He had like a concert though.
I don't care.
Or something.
No,
Yeah, true.
he showed up to Chance's concert.
He don't have cronies to just push enter.
That's two.
Right.
It's more than two at this point. It's like 4 albums that was supposed to come out for Kanye that just never came out.
Yeah.
It was
I'm
Good
mad
Ass
Kanye.
Job never came out.
But this-
Yandi never came out.
this
and
one
now-
is actually done though. Like he's played it for
Yeah.
people.
He
Wow.
had listening parties. It's supposed to drop today after having listening parties.
Yeah. Also, I heard he's not doing secular music anymore, which actually, you know what? I'm so happy that Kanye interjected himself a la Taylor Swift into this Carson King thing. Thank you, Kanye. I fuck you for not dropping the album. First and
Because we
foremost,
need
fuck
it
with
right now.
Kanye.
We fucking need that
I said that same shit.
So,
album. We needed the Kanye album.
Yeah,
I would feel a little bit more safe
it's
knowing
coming.
that a Kanye album
It's
came
coming.
out.
I heard he's bringing it. But yeah, so, man, this is all happening, and like I'm gradually like I'm kind of going on the registers page and I'm responding to stuff. I'm posting stuff on my own page. I'm responding to my friends and their parents, and then I'm seeing like these companies around Des Moines. They're like, by the way, we got a new promotion running where 10% of everything we sell this weekend is going to Carson King's Venmo.
Yo,
And
the ice cream shop from his hometown decided they're gonna make Busch Light ice cream and donate the proceeds. First, why you want beer ice cream? That just sounds like intestinal distress. Like,
I have this bit that I do that's basically like the only way you could get away with saying something racist in Iowa is if your last name is King. Shout out to Steve King.
Jazz.
I mean, you're not mistaken. I mean, but I would 100% be on. Like, I would get that made on a shirt were it not for the fact that apparently everybody else in Iowa has been saying racist stuff at 16 and getting away with it.
Well, not the guy at the Des Moines Register who
He's
is
the
doing
only
his fucking
one.
job.
He's the only one that gets
But
the
he's out of all the people that like have something to say, like I kind of feel bad for that guy because he was like it was like
I was
his
doing
boss.
my job.
He was given an
Just do
assignment.
this.
I just
He
did
did
what
an
you told me
assignment.
to do.
He did the assignment. Then his company threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
And then was like, I mean, granted, if there were, I didn't know about them shouting out death threats to a brown lady.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and that's messed up. Did she even have anything to do with the article?
No, and she's definitely like a leftist. Like, she writes a lot of opinion pieces. She's one of the editors for the Register, and she's.
I mean,
you know,
that's no excuse for like.
No, I'm saying I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm saying
No,
like, she's
I mean,
genuinely
yeah.
like a good person. You know what I'm saying? And then people just Iowa Nice showed its fucking face and was like, "Yo, this brown lady had to do it. They're all out to get us. Let's get her." And the Register's like, "Actually,
Yeah.
This guy.
There's a guy named Aaron, Aaron in full effect."
And so here we are now, and Ryan, I saw you responded to some things, and that's kind of why I was like, oh, I definitely, because I had spoken to you about coming on before, but we ended up in a few of the same places on Al Gore's internet discussing this stuff, and I don't know that I've ever seen racism so blatantly. Like, because Carson, to his credit, was blatant in his like taking down of like, yo, I was wrong. It just got covered up in a way where people were like, oh, it's okay, baby, it's okay. Everybody did that, and I've never seen people be like, well, we all made mistakes when it was us.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never seen that, and so it got me
For
to
us, we
thinking.
hear play stupid games, when student rises.
Man, that's what it's incredible. And so like one of the things that like really stuck with me was as I was reading all this stuff, I like saw a post that brought to my attention that Carson King is 24 right now, or 25, which is the exact same age Trayvon Martin would have been had he not been murdered.
Wow.
And it just made me really think about the way that decisions when you're 16 for some people carry much more dire consequences than they do for others. And it wasn't even decisions that Trayvon made that would eventually come to haunt him. Putting a hoodie on isn't something they're going to look at when you're 24 and go, you were 16 and you made a mistake. Or 17, actually, because Trayvon was 17 when he was murdered. Yeah. But, you know, those are the types of things that, like, he was painted as a grown man who was, you know, who another grown man attacked when he was a teenager. And Carson is, on the other hand, looked at as someone who just made a childlike mistake.
A naive child who didn't know what he was doing and just was influenced by this terrible comedy show.
I think that it's
16 is not old enough to know what's racist or not.
Well, the other thing is like that's happening simultaneously is like the Amber Geiger testimony is coming out from her trial, and like her tears of just like, man, you know, like her apology was like all about her. Yeah. It was like, oh, you know, I wished because, you know, if I knew my life was going to turn out like this, you know, I wish that he would have been the one holding the gun. It's like, well, maybe, I hate myself. It was like, well, maybe if he was holding the gun, he would have made a better decision. Yeah. Like,
we discussed that.
If he was holding the gun, he'd still be dead.
Yeah. Right.
All you were doing is giving an excuse. Like, I wish I had an excuse to shoot this man. Rather than, you know,
we discussed that before you got up here, and it's because it's interesting to me that she had every opportunity to just be like, I wish none of this happened. I wish he was still alive. I wish this had gone differently. She said she wished that he had the gun. Mm-hmm. Like she's not wishing that, you know,
she would have walked into her own house.
Yeah, like that's the way that
that's so weird. Though.
Right.
That is a very weird thing to say to try and defend yourself.
Not when you're trying to villainize someone. That's why you say you wish he had the gun, because you want to put that mental image
the thing in that I don't get about that whole thing is that, like, apparently the guy who she shot was eating ice cream on his couch when watching TV or something. So, I mean, how many of you have ever just ate ice cream in a dark room?
I mean,
I have.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I had the TV on. I was, you know,
I've definitely been eating like ice cream, watching anime with the lights on.
Okay, but
I've definitely been there before.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense of how she didn't know enough, like, instantly that it wasn't her apartment.
That's what.
Did you hear her excuse?
What
for why she didn't like? Okay,
because the doormat she thought someone just left for her.
No, she walked in. She wasn't paying attention because she was sexting her superior officer, her married superior officer. Yeah, she was talking about getting some dick. She walked into the wrong apartment. Had to go down a hallway, around the corner. Sees this black man sitting on the couch watching TV, eating ice cream. Pulls her gun, shoots him. Has her kit, like her trauma kit with her that has all the shit that's supposed to stop like traumatic bleeding, doesn't use any of it, does like 2-3 chest compressions while calling the cops, then claimed on the stands that she didn't know, like there wasn't a lot of blood, but she was able to tell the 911 operator exactly where he was hit, like did like 2-3 chest compressions, again, in this man's house, and then 2 days later, she was back sexting her superior officer talking about wanting to get drunk and get some dick because she's stressed out because she just shot and killed a grown man in his own house doing whatever the fuck he wanted.
It blows my mind that a trained police officer can't immediately walk into a room and say, "Hey, this is not my apartment."
Right.
Like,
I've never been trained. I would know that.
Exactly. Immediately when I open the door.
I used to live in an apartment, and it was very similar to, I guess, that situation. And I lived like on a corner or whatever, and I hit the 3rd floor. And then for some reason, the door opened on the 2nd floor, and I was just texting, whatever, walking in my apartment. And then I accidentally pushed and opened the door and walked into somebody else's apartment. And they were looking at me, and, oh, my bad. And then, like, I just left.
You got lucky that day.
They didn't shoot you?
No, I'm saying like.
You didn't shoot them, or
Well, you didn't shoot them.
I didn't throw
I
didn't throw my phone at them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Get the fuck out of my apartment.
Right. Well, I'm just saying it's like, oh, my bad. Like, we're if you were sexting, right? Because you got to think about it. Like, you're texting, right? Oh shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of, oh, my bad. Like, and then walk out.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much that, and honestly, I'm scared she's gonna get off. Because she fears her life, and she's gonna make a crying thing about like, oh, like it was a mistake.
I was only 24, or however the fuck old she was.
Yeah.
I just got off a 12-hour shift, and you know I didn't like. I was texting, looking down, and I didn't see the doormat at my feet.
Every excuse you could possibly
like
make.
like whatever it is.
And what is people's favorite thing to say? Oh, you don't know what the stresses of a police officer.
Meanwhile, if you or I go to Best Buy right now and steal a TV, we're in jail for at least 5 years. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm in poverty. I thought I could sell this TV, get a quick come up. But this lady just murders a guy eating ice cream in his jams or whatever, like chilling at home.
Well, now she can move to Iowa, and in 10 years she can get her own holiday.
Right.
Yeah.
And Bush Light will sponsor her release party.
So Bush Light will distance themselves from her.
Yeah, Bush Light yeah.
That's right. They did the right thing.
Right.
But
there's plenty of little small breweries that are
right.
No, they're chomping at the fucking bit.
Let us give you some beer.
Peachtree might name a Carson King beer. Like
I will stop drinking Blonde Fatales if that happens.
You might need to get ready then, my guy, because it's happening. Like this, I mean, there's a benefit tonight, I think, or tomorrow, man. Whenever the fundraiser is going to end, there's a benefit program happening at like I guess whatever Seven Flags has a new name now. But they're doing this huge event. All the proceeds from the event are going on top of the donations. And look, there are people who, honest to God, think that people are mad at children with cancer. That's the stupidest shit in the world. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When I heard that it was for the Children's Cancer Center, I thought they were giving cancer to the kids, and I was like, "No, I'm playing. That's a joke. I'm a comedian. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke." But
cancer.
Nobody this is the most. I was at that hospital a few weeks ago for a family. Like, there was a baby born in my family. It was in the NICU. And the hospital was fantastic. Everything that they did an amazing job caring for the baby, and I understand the importance of what they're doing. I'm not saying that they don't need money. What I think is crazy is the fact that if these people had that disposable income available and they could have given it, why do you have to be a part of a thing to give it? Why not just give it and let that be enough?
It's the same reason that people sign online petitions.
They need the pat on the back. They need the pat on the back, and you don't have that. Not only are they needing the pat on the back now, but they need it's not that bad. Like, now that they're all looking around at each other like, yeah, we were saying racist shit when we were 16, but it's not that bad, right? We turned out okay, and you didn't. You didn't, because now you're online doing what the fuck you're doing, and you don't realize how idiotic you are.
I mean, still giving money to the kids is one thing, but all of this going after people and death threats on the behalf of sick children who didn't ask you to do that.
Yeah.
That's the part I really don't understand. I don't understand how you be like, oh, but we care about them and you don't, so I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to threaten to, or I'm going to get online and say horrific things. Like, what are you doing, my guy? Like,
can we be real for a minute, though?
Please, let's get into it.
None of this money is going to the kids.
Yeah.
The money that
going to the hospital.
Now here,
also,
I said this before,
vote for healthcare for all. But I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Because here's the issue,
still give money to the Bush Light kid.
Right.
Here's the issue: you got this dude who's going to raise his money. He did a great thing. He's raising it for the hospital. I never try to take away from him for that, but you got problems with it because none of this money that you're giving is going to go to the actual care for the children. It's not going to go to actually alleviating some of the financial burden that these parents are going to have to go through when they're dealing with this. It's not going to go to necessarily improving the time that these kids might have left or the comfort that they have to deal with is going to go towards medical equipment, probably. They're probably going to make this nigga a bench with a plaque on it with his name or, like, you know, something with the wave. Like, it's going to be a big pat on the back. And again, you have to think that this is a college teaching hospital. They are fully funded by the University of Iowa. They don't need this money. It's a nice thing that they're doing, but they don't need this money. And all the people that, like Dante was saying, like, they want to feel better about themselves for donating, they could have donated that same $2, $20, whatever, any given time.
Yeah.
And not defend a racist.
Right. But again, like, they have to be a part of the thing. They have to get that pat on the back, and that's, like, it just doesn't make sense to me that people are that desperate for that, because they're not interested in the process of, like, how do we atone for what we did when we were 16? They don't want to actually have to do that. They just want to say, nah, I'm a good person now. I'm the type of person that gives to what Carson King was doing. And it's like, it's not, I'm not saying that these people are bad people until it gets to the point that, like, they're seeking vengeance for this Aaron guy when all he did was his job. Or they're being, like, willfully, like, mean to this Carol lady who was doing her job. They're being, like...
It just turned into a big game of whataboutism.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like, and you did this, and Bush Light back in 1890-something had black people in their advertisements. Like, yeah, they were still feeding niggas to crocodiles in Florida back then. Like,
I know. So it's just so... It's disheartening for me that people... throughout all of that, like, people really don't care about racism unless they can use it to like, get somebody else's racism expunged.
Yeah, because the only thing worse than being racist is being called a racist.
Yeah! The fucking...
Wow. Yeah.
Like, that's where we are now.
And I would say it's people from,
It's the truth.
It's people from both, like, political sides of the spectrum. Like, I've had liberal friends post on Facebook that, I posted some stuff when I was 16. I probably said some racist thing. I've had
met a black person.
Conservatives.
Yeah. I think there's a phenomenon.
It's okay now that I've met a black person. I have black friends now, and they know they think it's okay, or they are friends with me. Racism's over.
It's to the point now where it's like kind of people are like not surprised by, like, you know, a Republican making racist comments, but it's getting to the point where it's just like they're surprised that liberals are making racist comments, and it's just like, well, I mean, like, racism isn't a political thing. Like, you know, it's like like, y'all, like, racism is like white supremacy.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. And I mean, as a matter of fact, if we're gonna get really real, I mean, we could talk about some Malcolm X speech that he gave talking about liberals versus conservatives and how they really only come around every 4 years. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know. Like, we could go off on that tangent, but, you know, I'm gonna.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. I'm gonna digress.
It still goes back to the most racist thing that has ever been said to me was said in college, and I don't think she meant to be malicious. When she said it, she didn't mean any harm by saying it. She was genuinely asking me this question. We were studying, and she was like, just looking at me and was like, "Why don't you have normal people hair?" Like, and it was just like, I was like, wow. Like, in that moment, you don't think that I am a normal person. Like, you think that white is normal and black is just abnormal, and that is racism. Like, that's this Iowa nice racism. It's like, oh, I don't hate black people. I just think y'all are kind of weird, you know?
I tweeted a thing where I was like, Iowa nice is nothing more than, like, passive aggressive assholism.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Iowa nice is having the wherewithal to not say fucked up things to people's face.
That's it.
It's wait until you're in a safe space around people who you know have like mentalities as you. Right. And being able to spew it there. That's all Iowa nice is.
There are so many safe spaces in Iowa.
Right. I work for this company. And I had a boss, and like, her peers hired me. Like, I never met her in the interview process, and that was usually like a no-no for me. Like, I don't usually do that, but I needed a job, and so I accepted the position. And like after like a few days, I actually meet her, and one of the first things she said to me was, "Oh man, you know who you look like?" And I actually have a bit reserve similar to this, but it's like, you know who you look like, and the answer is always the last black guy she saw on TV. and this particular time, it was Chris Rock from Lethal Weapon. Wow. And it was just like, okay, so you don't know. Like, I was pissed on multiple levels because first off, she couldn't name Chris Rock by name, and like the second part is like, you know, you just met me and you're already telling me that I look like some other black guy, or that I remind who looks nothing like me.
But we all look alike.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean,
there's some people that are gonna watch this podcast and be like, I don't know which one's Dante, which one's Perry.
Right. Yeah.
They all have glasses sometimes.
Yo, every big black dude in the history of ever has looked like. You know how much, like, until probably like 6 months ago, I fucking hated Kenan Thompson. Like, hated him. Ever since D2, the Mighty Ducks came out, like, I've hated him.
Yo,
I used to hate Urkel. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, see, we all got one. That's childhood trauma right there.
Man, this is just so refreshing to be talking about this with people who like understand the nuances of this. But earlier when we were discussing that, like, there are these safe spaces that exist for people to say these terrible things. It's one of the things that I had to come to grips with when I moved here was this notion that the South is more racist. Like, I thought I was getting out of some of the things that I've come to realize I didn't escape. And what I've realized is one of my friends, Mike Perry, who lives in Omaha now. You met Mike at Maha.
Yeah.
So he has a great joke, and it's one of the few white comedian jokes about racism that I love. I love this joke. And the premise is, in his town, it wasn't so much whether you were racist or not, it was whether you liked Shelley. And I think it like describes Iowa so well, because in so many towns there is just that one black person. And for a lot of people, they just don't recognize that. Like, it's easy to think that you're not racist when there's no one to direct it at. Like, because you're not being, they think in the South that white people are just throwing Molotov cocktails through everybody's window when it's not like that.
It's usually just the churches, but
yeah, but I mean that's where their segregation is, and so
mosques occasionally.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not like that. It's the same as here, except there's more opportunity to present it to the people you're actually feeling it about. And so, like I said, it's easier and harder to be racist in Iowa. It's easier in the way that, like, you know, there's no black people around to call you.
You don't have to be racist every day.
It's
not black people just doing things.
But it's harder because like I said, there's no black people to turn it towards. So it's like they really need to. There's not a lot of holding the feet to the fire. That's why someone like Rima I love so much, and I want to protect her so much, because she's doing something that needs to be done.
So I was watching Lincoln. You ever see this movie on Netflix? So actually,
not the Vampire Hunter one.
No, not the Vampire Hunter. So like before I watched it, I put it in my queue or whatever. And Netflix, they had these suggestions about stuff. And so there was this other period piece Civil War thing. It was like from the 90s or something. I don't know why I wanted to watch it, but I watched it, and it was funny to me, like in the like the way that black people that were enslaved like thought about the North. That was like, oh, I'm going up north, and it was just like, oh, all the racism is like under wraps. It's like they don't have signs that says nigga don't come in here, but like you'll get the dirty looks if you go in there.
Don't come in there.
Yeah, they treat you all kinds of fucked up. Whereas in the South, it was labeled quite clearly, nigga don't come in here, and it was just like a difference between y'all both fucked up. But one makes it really obvious they fucked up and they own it. And then the other one is just like, oh, no, we're not fucked up, but we're going to treat you fucked up. Mm-hmm. And I
just
think
need you to obey our rules.
Right. It's an interesting dynamic that, you know, and I think that Iowa is definitely one of those. It's like when Obama won, everybody was like, racism's over, woo, we did it, right?
Yep.
And then when Trump won in Iowa, it was like, I thought to myself, that is what we call in the stock market a market correction. Because they just went the other way. And you know what, though? I think that for as long as we are in the current system, it'll probably always be that way.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with what's basically my mother-in-law like previously this week, and she's also from a small town. We were talking about this Carson King thing, and I was like, Carson had the safety of a small town around him. He grew up in Prairie City, Iowa, which likely 98% white folks, one Chinese family that owns a Chinese restaurant, a couple Mexicans, and a black dude that got stuck there because he had some babies.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it was. Then he went to ISU, met some other people from a different walk of life, had his eyes open. I'm like, but when it comes down to it, like, here you are in this small town where you have no exposure. All you get is media conditioning. Everything that you look at on TV, be it Law and Order, the news, everything like that, paints black people in this super scary light. Like, we're out to get you, or we're out to get over, or this, that, and the other.
Or you like Will Smith. I have a white friend where he's like, the only black person I ever saw was Will Smith.
Yeah, or Bill Cosby, you know, whatever, in a positive light. Like, but everything else that you see about black and brown people is negative.
Bad.
And so now all of a sudden you get in this situation where you're around them and you have this like inherent fear. And I was talking to like this woman about this. I was like, because up until I started fucking your daughter, you weren't dealing with black people. You know what I mean? Like, then all of a sudden you're around my family and you see that, oh shit, he grew up in the suburbs. Oh shit, he's educated. Oh shit, like all these people aren't what they're made out to be. He's not out here slanging dope, not out here being a gangbanger. And all of a sudden your whole life changed. Like your whole life view changes because you meet one that what you would be considering a good one. And then all of a sudden you meet more and like the game has changed for you. But that doesn't mean that you don't still have these like inherent fears and this inherent racism thing. You have
having that realization doesn't make you not racist.
Right. You have to actively work on this, like to undo this condition that you've had all your life.
And I don't think that they recognize that they've been conditioned.
At all. Because like what if you notice, like when you talk to people like that, you can go down a list where you can be like, think of all the like good black people you know. It outweighs the bad black people you know by so much, but they never adjust that view of us.
And another thing that they don't realize is that we've also been conditioned because, like, I mean, I don't know, like, I feel that black people have like a sixth sense about things as far as like, you know, if somebody's saying something and they mean something else, like they feel it, it's like as a survival mechanism, it's like black people have had to like anticipate fucking white people and this might be some fucked up shit.
We gotta take the room down. Yeah, like
right. It's like we always have to read
keep
between
everybody
the lines.
calm.
It's like
God, this reminds me of something. So a few months ago, I was at a bar and I was on the road somewhere, and somebody was talking to me about race. It was a white person, and this guy said to me, "Well, you know, a lot of black people look up to Muhammad Ali." I was like, "Yeah, he's a great guy. Like I love Muhammad Ali. He's a hero in the black community." And he goes, "Well, you know, he was in favor of segregation." And I go, "I do. But here's what you have to realize is that he was in favor of segregation from a place of fear because the power imbalance was structured in a way that if you desegregate, he didn't have a reason to trust those in power, whereas the people in power were looking at segregation and being in favor of it from a place of superiority. So you have to understand that if you're in one situation looking down on the other person, saying that I'm better than you, that's why we're segregated, but I'm in the situation saying I want to remain segregated because I feel like if I relinquish any more power to you, you're just going to misuse it. Like that's a totally different existence.
Muhammad Ali had this very, like, I forget what TV show it was on. I saw a clip of it, and basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, listen, if there was like 1 million snakes coming down to kill and bite me, and there was like 10 snakes that was like, no, we're going to protect you guys, like, and build up a wall. It's like, there's still like 1 million other snakes coming to like, coming to kill me. Yeah. It's like, why not just shut the whole door?
Yeah, that's
and not let any of them in. So like, I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, honestly, dude, like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if I feel comfortable saying it, but, like, dude, like, what would really change is, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much reading you've done on, like, John Brown and, like, what his thoughts were, but.
Not enough.
Okay, well.
I feel like I got homework.
Yeah.
In a good way, like.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, he was a white guy who basically started the Civil War. And his thoughts were, we just need to set up a whole black nation. And obviously they killed him.
Yeah.
But like,
we kind of tried that a few times, and those were the bombings on American soil. Like,
well,
let's pave that part of New York,
Black Wall Street,
Central Park now. Like,
yeah, but even that wasn't what. In his mind, his thoughts, that wasn't going far enough. Not talking about just communities, because like you still have a white governor and everything else. He was talking about in the middle of the Civil War, while these guys are fighting over to make the South their own country, and the Union's trying to preserve them. Just attack some place, fortify it, and then like now that's like the black country.
Wow.
Because he didn't believe that. White people was ever really gonna give black people a shot.
Because out of fear, though.
I mean,
I think it was all out of fear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's survival.
Yeah. I mean, but
because even going through this, like, you know, all right, so say we win this now, which, you know, they did. Like, that's not gonna change things immediately for my kids. They're still gonna be looked down upon, my grandkids. You know what I mean?
Back to Lincoln, like when they were arguing about it, they was like, yo, and obviously it's a movie. You know, whatever. There must be some historical stuff, but I can't doubt that some paraphrased version of the conversation that actually took place that they alluded to in the movie, and it was just like, oh, you're gonna make the blacks free, and then what? They're gonna vote? Like, oh, we're gonna treat them like equal citizens? Preposterous! And it was like the only way that they could get Tommy Lee Jones to do it, to go through with it, was to make him not say, oh, they'll be equal. And I don't know. Then he went back to go fuck his black wife.
Well, I mean, you know, it's in the American Constitution written by Thomas Jefferson slaves that were only 3/5 of a person. So.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know,
This
man.
country was founded on that, and I don't think that if that's the foundation, we're never gonna fully get rid of racism. The system is built on racism and oppression.
Right.
Like the capitalism that we have, it needs an oppressed group of people.
Exactly.
And it just happens to be black people are that people right now. Right. So even if we get it to be not us at one point, I mean, we're still going to be oppressing somebody.
Kind of moving towards Latinos.
Yeah.
It's kind of moving towards Latinos. Like,
because there's a larger workforce.
Everybody loves the NBA. Yeah. Niggas is all right. Let's go after the brown folks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of that is because it's like, well, if they're not going to be slaves, we got to stop them from giving birth. Let's open up Planned Parenthood.
But like, another thing that like doesn't get talked about, like that's the whole, like that's the game of being like anti-immigration or whatever, is that as long as they keep things tied up in arguing over a wall, then they can just keep letting them in and hiring them to do slave labor, but at the same time vilifying them so they keep them at the bottom of the rung. Mm-hmm. And that's why I don't want to talk immigration with liberals or conservatives at this point anymore, because none of us have it figured out. It's incredibly like mean is the only word I can think of. What we're doing to these people at the border when they're trying to better their lives, we're basically just setting up a way for them to like get here and maintain the status quo of being that oppressed group. And so it's like, do you think they want to get rid of all, like when people talk about how, oh, well, Trump has workers at his golf courses that are illegal. Fucking duh, that's what he wants. Like, he doesn't want to get rid of all these people. Like, he
doesn't have to pay some maid $15 an hour.
Racism is not going to let another white person scrub his toilet.
Exactly. Right. So it's like he just needs you to know that he thinks he's better than you. And what better way to do that than be like, you're sending me your worst people. It's
the shithole countries in Africa remark.
Yeah, like
I think something Cliff said just really hit the nail on the head. Is like there always needs to be, I guess, in the current system, there always needs to be this second class citizen, and you know, now that everything isn't outwardly racist, it's become an economic issue, but there's still like the old issue too. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Even then, the economic doesn't replace the other one.
Is what led to the racism issue, because I mean that's how the police force got founded. Like you had the powers that be, the ones with money.
Yeah,
they're like, hey, hunters. Poor white people go out and police these poor black people, so you have a reason to think that you're better than them, and we're gonna cause this division. You know what I mean? Like it all goes back to money.
Yep. Like, and the value of black lives, like Trayvon, and I forget the other guy's name.
Tamir.
I was gonna say, is it Boheem?
John.
Yeah. I don't know.
All of them.
Yeah. We was talking before, like Philando Castile is like
he should be the poster child of the NRA.
That cop got off. He had everything right.
And it's on video.
Yeah.
On video, they shot this man in front of his girl and his child. He let the cop know, hey, I'm licensed to carry. There is a firearm in the car. And they're like, stop reaching. He's like, I ain't reach for nothing. Stop reaching. I ain't reach for nothing. They shot this man 7 times. And then the media is going to go and pull up an old mugshot for like a marijuana possession from when he was 18, 19, knowing that this man has worked within the school system. It's like a community pillar for these kids and everything like that. But they still had to paint him in this negative light.
You know what? I don't even. Check this out. I don't even mind that if we also get to negatively bring down Carson King. If what we're going to do is this guy is the focus of a news article, we're gonna go back in time and find every fucking racist, fucked up shit that he ever did and put that on Front Street. Fine, then do it for everybody. And that is like just bringing it back around. Like the reason why I'm like really just kind of whole pissed at the whole thing, and part of me is just kind of just like, I'm just gonna let the white people have it. Like, just fold the arms over and just be like, you know, listen, white people doing white people shit in, and it ain't got nothing to do with me this time. But like, I mean, it's
white
all
people mad
up.
at white people,
right?
For doing what white people been doing apparently.
Right. They can just go fight each other in the street. Let me fuck.
Okay. I do want to like try to put a bow. To some degree on like how we feel about this though. Like, what is your like biggest takeaway from this? Like, what are you looking at it and saying, I have to make sure I tell my kids to watch what they tweet? Like, because I know there's that stuff, but like, what has been the ultimate takeaway from you? Because I think for me, the thing has been that like the work of racism is still such a heavy load. Like the people who are out there saying everyone made mistakes at 16, if those people had instead been wanting to fight against racism, they probably would have been like, oh, this is unacceptable, and this is why I need to tell my children not to joke about race, not to, that, you know, if they think that 16 is too young to know that racism is bad, I need to start telling my children at 6 that racism is bad, so when they're 16, they don't even think about joking about it like this. And they're unwilling to do that personal atonement and work, and until the sweeping idea behind it is, yes, let's do that, we're just going to keep having these issues. And again, this is one that, you're right, Perry, we need to just sit this one out, but we can't, because apparently even our liberal friends are coming into this saying, it wasn't that big a deal, the Des Moines Register sucks dick.
I think black people is going to be real silent on this one. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a discussion, because obviously we are, and I welcome that. But like, I don't know, man. It's just like this is one of those times where I feel like I just need to peep everybody's style out and just see who's commenting, what they're commenting on, and just be like, okay, all right, like, and like who's supporting this guy, who doesn't care. And everything else, and just sit back and observe this one.
That's my takeaway, is that I do not know my white friends. I don't know. Like, I think I saw a post about that. Somebody said something like, yeah, like, like your black friends right now, like we are struggling. Like we don't trust anybody. We don't trust the government. We don't trust people that we've known for years. Like because we don't know. People could have been just hiding their racism for a very long time, or saying that they're not racist by being friends. And then maybe not saying racist stuff about you. Yeah, exactly. Am I the black friend that they use to be like, oh no, it's cool. I said this stuff around my black friend Cliff, and he wasn't mad. He was okay with it. Am I that black friend that they say to when they say something racist to a black person, and that black person gets mad and they're like, oh no, I'm not racist. My black friend Cliff said that this was okay.
Or he didn't say anything.
Yeah, right. I'm a coon.
Right.
Because I was scared to call somebody out for saying something in a room full of white people. You know?
For me, I don't care. Here's the thing, right? Like, I'm not mad at Carson King. I'm not mad at him.
Me either. I want to be clear about that. None of us are mad at him.
Right. I don't think any black people are mad at Carson King. Like, okay, dude grew. He did something great. Good for him. I am feeling like y'all are really exposing yourselves for the things that you find important. And I stick by the fact that in 2019, it's far worse to be called a racist than to actually be racist. Because I feel like for when somebody is actually racist, they got every excuse in the book. Oh, they had a bad day, or oh, they had this bad experience, or oh, you like Liam Neeson, like a black person did something bad to one person, so now you hate all niggas, like you gotta go find them. Like
you're running.
You always
I'm
got
gonna
an
kill
excuse.
that black bastard.
Right, like you always got an excuse, and when it comes down to it, I don't care. Like your guilt, or whether or not you actually are guilty, is not paying my bills. It's not making sure that my kids are okay. It's not making sure that I gotta get up and go to work every day. You know what I'm saying? You're not changing my oil. You're not doing none of that shit. So I don't really care how you feel about it. I'm gonna tell you how it is every single time. Like every single time.
I did some research. I looked up an article on the Des Moines Register where some 16-year-old black kids got in trouble for like dancing and like being a nuisance in the skywalks. And I want to read you guys some of the comments. Is that okay? Can I close out reading some comments?
Yes.
I screenshotted this, so I'm not gonna say these people's names, but I'm just gonna read comments. I bet they'd be a lot calmer if they didn't have to pay for parking on nights and weekends, which is a good, funny start to this because it's about to get worse. Trashy thugs, they need prison. I don't care how old they are. Pukes, I work downtown. The skywalks are always filled with disrespectful teens trashing the skywalks, dancing like they own the skywalks, yelling and screaming, no couth at all. This country is swirling in the toilet.
Hold on, was that a black person that wrote that?
No, these are all white people.
Okay, I haven't really heard white people say couth.
I haven't heard anybody say couth.
Let's see here. Time to bring back PR-24 batons and let the officers do their thing while granting them absolute immunity. Put fear into the thugs. When can we officially slap the parents of obnoxious kids? I bet their parents are super proud. I bet their parents behave very similar. They are just as bad on the bus as well. Let's see here.
First off, you riding the bus, bitch.
Concealed carry.
But still feeling superior.
So we go on here. Concealed carry. Culture.
Wait, concealed carry?
Yeah,
that's the scariest one of all.
Yeah.
Because it's
So some 16-year-old kids dancing means they can get shot? That's a reason to shoot them?
I got one more page here. This was probably the one that scared me the most. Fry them with 2 likes.
Wow.
What is wrong with people? Cowards. Let's see. And then they probably belong to a gang. So
first off, you're in Des Moines, fucking Iowa.
Ain't no real gang.
Exactly. Like y'all can claim whatever, but you ain't done nothing but maybe rob a Walgreens, kick rocks. Like,
nah, it was probably get and go.
That don't count as a robbery. You didn't rob or get and go. You got a loan.
They tell you to do. You get your shit and you go.
You got a loan if it's get and go. That's where you practice being a real robber. They don't.
One of the cameras work.
Yeah, I saw a get and go with a screen door in the winter. That's all they had. Like, is the hook on? All right, we going home.
If they was really worried about it, they do what they do in the hood and put like bulletproof glass up in front of the register.
Yeah,
it's like they ain't worried about it. Right, yeah.
It's like you're changing the
right.
turnstile.
All right. Well, we have had a very long discussion. We've recorded for an hour, no breaks. I didn't want to interrupt it. I think I just let it go. We're good. Man, they love the sirens.
Can we?
Right.
Yeah, hopefully they're not looking for it. Can we like pause and take a break and then come back and do final thoughts?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
I want us to do final thoughts.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a break.
Yeah. That way you can like proper.
All right, we're back with Aaron Calvin. Catch the Waves back. So, Aaron, big question. What's next for you?
This is the story of 6 comics.
How am I supposed to put the keys in? Just knock on the door, I don't know.
You call?
Over 6 nights.
I'm happy you think that, dude, but we're not going to.
God, that makes me feel cool.
In 6 states, putting on 6 shows.
We're gonna take hot sauce and we're gonna put it on butt cheeks.
All right, we're back from the break, getting ready to close this thing out. It's been a great conversation that we had with everybody. Man, it's been a pleasure. I wish we could have these conversations more.
We can. We just invite him. We invite him some more. Normally we have Nadia and we've had Rima and people like that. So yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, I appreciate the hospitality, y'all. Thanks for having me on here. And we'll have to have you on mine too, because we like to have these same types of conversations. So, and quite frankly, I mean, we know plenty of white girls and dudes that we can have. Let them come on and try and defend themselves in ours. And I mean, I love y'all setup in here, but
go full dark tank.
Our the podcast I do, Drinks with Friends, we do a guerrilla style where we go out into the public and have these conversations.
Yeah, so. You were saying that, and I'm like, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
You're in a coffee shop sometimes.
Yeah, it's fun though because then you get to see the looks that people give you.
Yeah, I did it, and that was one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah, we did ours in Hessen House.
Yeah.
Oh wow, the whitest of white bars.
Right. We had a conversation about soul food in Hessen House while people were around us eating kielbasa and schnitzel and stuff. And we're like, I dare you to say something, and nobody did.
So we'll have you plug the podcast, but before that, like, I just want to tell you, there's a great podcast from our friend Yadoye Travis called Dark Tank. Mm-hmm. And what he does is he has a panel of black comics, invite one white comic on, and they pitch ideas to end racism, and then the black comedians skewer it. And we did one last year. We did one last year for Beast Village, and it is one of my favorite things I've ever done. We'll have to get you the episode. It's so good.
Yeah, I gotta hear that.
Tell us about your podcast. Let's get into something. Let's promote you, my guy.
Yeah, appreciate it. Again, I'm that guy, Ryan, half of the Drinks with Friends podcast with local Iowa legend Madison Ray.
What up, Madison?
We try and highlight black excellence in Iowa. Like the whole premise of the show that we do is that we came in under the idea that black people aren't a monolith, right? Like there are black people, first off, in Iowa. We have different experiences than other black people elsewhere. And our opinions and our experiences are just as valid as black people from Chicago, New York, Atlanta, cultural centers. Like we're living day to day in what you could call enemy territory. Like Iowa's 3% black. That doesn't make us any less valid. It doesn't make our opinions any less valid. It doesn't make the art we make any less valid or anything like that. And so we try to promote that as much as we can, and we try to have those important conversations and highlight black art in Iowa and our opinion about things that are happening, going on everywhere. So again, that's Drinks with Friends. We're on all your favorite streaming platforms. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, Drinks with Friends Des Moines, or on Twitter it's DWF_DSM. Again, I draw pictures. Little plug for me, Inktober is coming up, where I'll be doing a live stream every single day for the month of October, doing an original piece of art in ink. So yeah, check me out. It's @thatguy_Rye on Twitter. That's @thatguy_Rye_IG on Instagram. And then of course, just Ryan Morrison on Facebook. So hopefully you can come see some dope art, hear what we got to say. And again, thanks y'all for having me. This was a great time.
Thanks for being
important conversations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So who's next?
I mean, I don't really have any closing thoughts. I think I pretty much said everything. Just, man, I do want to take a second and shout out the Comedy Kickback and the Black Iowa Streams crew. We had our show this past Friday. It was dope. Thanks to everyone who came out and supported. Thanks to everyone who bought tickets. We are trying to curate a black comedy experience in this state, and the support we've gotten has been incredible. But we want, like, we've done 2 shows now, or 3, I guess. We've gotten a pretty different audience at each one. We're hopefully going to start taking some from that first audience, some from that second audience, and just like building a unique audience to come to each of them. But we've got another one that's going to be coming October. So we're actually going to be in Ottumwa, Iowa on October 12th. That's going to be the 3 of us, and we actually just added Bernard Bell to that one. So if you're in the area, I think I'm just going to get us an Airbnb that night, fellas. I think some of us might want to get a little messed up for that one. And then
I'm definitely not driving.
So that's going to be October 12th in Ottumwa, and then actually the next week, the week after that rather, Thursday, October 17th, we've got Mandel, who actually just did an episode of this podcast. So it may be in a weird order. This may come out before the Mandel episode, but watch the Mandel episode. Keep an eye out for that if this one is out first. He's going to be coming back to do a show with us, and he's one of the best comics in the country. He's touring all over the place, working and making it happen. So Black excellence, baby. Black excellence, that's what we're going for as well, and we want to keep that train moving. So.
Yep. Also, so I guess I'm going to be performing on Friday, October 4th at Beast Village Comedy Festival. So that's going down. I believe it's going to be at the Lefties live music location. And then Saturday morning, the Black Iowa Streams crew is going to basically do a podcast from there as well.
We still got to work out a lot of that stuff. But I got a lot of ideas.
Well, yeah, it's happening next week, so you better get started.
I'm just waiting to get the okay from y'all. Like, how weird can I make it?
100%.
Okay.
We going in.
All right. Good.
Great. And then I also had a web series just released called the Transparent Comedy Tour. I'm by myself, guys, on that tour. I'm the only black guy, so like, make sure you come watch it and support it and say, hey, I love that black guy.
It's really good. It really is.
You can find that at the transparentcomedytour.com or on Facebook, social medias, or just follow me because I'm always posting about it. Perry T Comedy on Instagram, Perry T Comedy, just everywhere. And then on Twitter, you can follow me at Perry T3. So that's it.
All right. As always, I hope everybody caught the wave and felt the vibes. Until next time.
Peace.
This one goes out to all the beautiful listeners out there. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. And I just want to say one thing. Thank you. Well, maybe 2 things. I also want to say goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks a lot for giving me your time. Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks a lot for giving me your time. Your time. Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks a lot for giving me your time. Thanks a lot for giving me your time. Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks a lot for giving me your time. You can loved. You are loved because you are love. You can love and you are loved because you are love.